Hello, welcome to another ramble. Good morning. It's very early. I just woke up, or I am still in the state of waking up, so please excuse my video appearance. um, Today I was going to talk about a couple of things that are kind of correlated. Um, let's just get into it. And so I find, excuse me, that human beings are very hard to please, and they seem to be dissatisfied with a lot of the stuff that's going on in their life. And I feel like this discord or this disharmony is creating a lot of what we are currently living in, if that even makes sense. Like, if you spend a lot of time in nature, and maybe I'm ignorant because I don't speak the language. I'm not fluent in the language of plants. Like, I know basic plant language and basic um, animal language, but I'm not fully, how do I say? I don't know. It's like, when you're connected to your emotional intelligence, you can kind of pick up on micro movements or micro things that kind of tell you when something is not in its best state, if that even makes sense. You know what I mean. So, like, if you're around people who are angry or depressed, you can pick up on, like, their energy or micro movements, and they're telling you. Same with, like, a plant or an animal. If you're paying attention, like, if the plant needs water, it'll tell you based on, like, how it's standing in its pot, or if its leaves are turning brown. You can kind of, like, sense that, okay, this plant is not happy, probably needs water, or maybe it's in an area that's too sunny or too windy. You pick up on these subtleties. That's what I'm saying. Where was I going with this? Holy shit. Sorry, I just swore. I guess my whole thing is, like, humans seem to be very dissatisfied. But it seems that, like, the plants, they're just kind of, like, growing through life. And they're kind of, like, letting go of things that no longer serve them, and just kind of growing and, like, and growing through their cycles, and like, passing and regenerating and so forth. Human beings, on the other hand, they're kind of, like, dissatisfied. It seems that way, like, through my basic observation of myself and others. They're highly dissatisfied, and I think it's the root cause of what's happening in the world today. Like, I feel like if you were to take every single person on the planet and support them in a way that will help them to be satisfied with themselves, then we probably would be creating a completely different reality. I kind of stand by that theory. It could be skewed, but I feel like that's what it is. My whole thing is, like, people are dissatisfied, but most of them aren't really looking to remedy that. They're just kind of going out in the world, and they're kind of, like, pointing fingers and blaming it on the weather, or blaming it on another person, or blaming it on their circumstances, or an experience, or a projection, instead of just realizing that maybe they need to start with themselves. And the first step is acknowledging that you're dissatisfied. And then the next step is trying to figure out what will bring satisfaction. And I think we overlook a lot of, like, the things that really matter. Like, for instance, getting up in the morning. That's satisfying. I mean, you got up. Oh, it could be dissatisfying if you're just dissatisfied with yourself in general, but I mean, think about it. Like, your body, you're able to breathe, you're able to see, you're able to experience life through your senses, right? I mean, that's something to celebrate. I've also noticed, like, and this is another example of dissatisfaction. So people who are in relationships are dissatisfied with their partner. Um, People who are single are dissatisfied with their being single. And my whole thing is, it doesn't matter, like, whether you're single or in a relationship, there's dissatisfaction present. And the dissatisfaction is probably emanating from you. Like, if you're not taking a look at your internal atmosphere and then making necessary adjustments, then of course, you're going to be very dissatisfied. And then everything around you will seem dissatisfactory. You know, I feel like if you are not participating in things that are in alignment with your constitution, your highest constitution, then you'll probably be very deeply dissatisfied. And the remedy is to look at yourself. Oh, stretching is so good. Yeah. Can you imagine though, like, seriously, if like everyone in the world realized that their disharmony and dissatisfaction stemmed from themselves and then decided to consciously make changes towards improving that? And the thing is, we're at war with ourselves a lot of the time. I've noticed, I've observed it within myself, and I've also observed it in others. So like, if you're at war with yourself, how are you supposed to find peace? And you see it in the external environment. When there's a rift or division between any type of people, whether it be racial or political, or like, I don't know, like people who are really extremist and radical in their view of life, it's so imbalanced, and they make it like it's a me against them thing, and it's really not. It's you against yourself. You can totally take a stance of neutrality. And I kind of touched on this in my previous video. You can take a stance of neutrality. You can have your own, like, set of beliefs and preferences, and you can still, like, respect someone who has a different, like, approach, but then instead of respecting and understanding, it's like, well, if you don't believe what I believe, then I'm gonna battle you. Why? It's like a tree battling with a rock and telling the rock, you need to be a tree or you're wrong, or vice versa. It's really, really silly if you think about it. It's pretty windy outside. I am still gonna go to the beach. I find sunshine and the ocean and just moving your body, like taking a brisk or casual walk, will totally do wonders on the well-being of you. I think dissatisfaction stems literally from not being satisfied within yourself. Like yesterday, I went shopping, and we encountered a shopper who almost bumped into us, and kind of had this really, like, standoffish attitude. And then I encountered someone else that we almost bumped into, and they, like, smiled and they said, "Oh, sorry, excuse me." And then, you look at that and you can kind of tell the mental constitution of the person based on their reactions. But instead of observing other people's mental constitutions, we have a tendency to react and take things personally. Like, for instance, my partner got really defensive towards the first guy who, bumped into us and didn't apologize or excuse himself. And I'm just like, man, maybe that guy's just unhappy, or he just has too much on his mind. Like, why are you making it a thing? It's really not a thing. And it's hard to practice that because we've been so reactive towards life and our preferences. I prefer everyone be a certain way, and if they don't be a certain way, then I'm going to start a war with them. Nah, man, just like look at everyone as they are from a place of neutrality. Look at yourself as you are from a place of neutrality. That's how you acquire peace. You know what I mean? It's not even trying to change anything to fit your preference, or, trying to like make something what it is when it's not. It's about just seeing something as it is and not reacting to it because you're just viewing it from a place of neutrality. And I think that's how you get satisfied. Like people, how do I say it? Let's just go into like people who are single or people who are in partnerships. So people, and this is from observation, people who are single are super dissatisfied being single. But then at the same time, they don't look at themselves and say, well, the reason I'm single is because I have a lot of preferences. And if people don't meet these preferences, then I will be very dissatisfied. And I'm not willing to put in the work within myself to recognize that and make the adjustments that are necessary. And so that is why I am single, because I'm very particular. No, they blame it on everyone else. Like, well, this guy smokes or this guy drinks, so I can't be with them. Or I should probably take my own advice as far as the way I socialize. I'm processing my own thoughts. I'm gonna have to mull that over, because on one end, I'm particularly particular about the people I socialize with, the things I consume, because I'm trying to align myself with things that will elevate me. If something doesn't elevate me, I have a tendency to keep my distance because I feel like there is a possibility that the lower vibrational frequency will influence my current emotional state and alter my internal atmosphere. Yes, that's what I tell myself. But whether I choose to interact with a low vibrational thing or not, I'm not casting judgment, I'm just being neutral. It's kind of like, like you have like an array of food in front of you, and based on your, I don't know, ability to assimilate particular types of food, like say you're lactose intolerant, you're obviously not going to reach for the dairy products because its effect on your system. But at the same time, you don't go and crucify milk or dairy products. You just go, oh, okay, milk is there, and so is cheese. But I know how that feels when I take that into my system, and it doesn't harmonize. So I'm going to avoid that. But I don't have anything against cows and the production of milk. I don't know what I'm saying, but I do. Anyways, yeah, that's how I feel about like the way I interact with people. Like using my feelers a kind of gauge whether or not they contain ingredients that will be beneficial or detrimental to my well-being. And if it's beneficial, then I'll take it in. If it's detrimental, then I'll probably limit my time with it. But I don't hate it, and I don't start a war with it, you know? Like, I just, okay, well, we obviously have, like, elements within ourselves that will clash. So I will limit my time because peace is my priority, and I will make choices and decisions based on that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Where was I going? I was talking about relationships. Oh yeah. So it's people who are lonely. They don't recognize that a lot of their dissatisfaction stems from them. I mean, they can't find someone because they're so particular. But instead of admitting to that, or maybe they half-heartedly admit to that, but then most of the time they're blaming other people. It's like, well, I can't be with them because of this and that. Okay, well, then just recognize that and find satisfaction in knowing that that that's not good for you, and move on. Let it go. Move on. Move forward. Move through. People in relationships who are trying to like make their partner, I don't know, they're trying to control and change a partner into something that they're not. They're trying to extract things from their partner that the partner cannot generate. So instead of like standing back and going, I need these things, but my partner can't generate these things for me. That's okay. I guess I need to generate them for myself, or I need to maybe even potentially switch my partner or get out of the relationship. It's as simple as that. Or have a conversation. State my needs. You know what I mean? Instead of just like projecting it on the partner and going, you're doing everything wrong. I'm not happy with you. Just admit that you're the one that's dissatisfied, and stop projecting it onto someone else, or stop trying to expect it from someone else, or stop expecting them to generate something that they might not be able to give you. Simple as that. And then move on, move forward, move through, let go of everything. Yes. Oh, so in relation to this video, I've been rambling for 17 minutes. I just took a look at the time. This can also be applied to life. We're like so dissatisfied with our job or our living circumstances. Recognize that you're the one that's dissatisfied. It's not the job. You're not a tree. You can move. You have 2 feet. You can leave. If you don't like something, leave. Maybe move into a space that feels more aligned with who you are and your elemental disposition. That even makes sense. Anyways, I'm gonna go, but thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this, and I hope you are having a beautiful day. Blessings to one and all. Amen.